Hello everyone, it's Dr. Ding here again. So, what are we doing today? Today I'm going to do an unboxing with all of you. What are we unboxing? Usually we might unbox things like sneakers, test their performance, and so on. But today I'm going to unbox this box right here with you all. This box has been with me for about 15 or 16 years. What do we use it for? Well, usually when I go out to teach, I bring this box along. That's right, I always bring this box with me. Different people might carry things in their school bags, backpacks, or even in folders, but for me, I bring this box. It's convenient for carrying things like a headlamp, or if you're very safety conscious, maybe a first aid kit or something like that. As for me, I might not bring things like a headlamp or heavy gear. Why? Because I prefer to travel light. The lighter, the better. If you have to travel all over Hong Kong and Kowloon in a single day, carrying so much stuff, you'll be so exhausted that you feel completely drained. Alright, without further delay, let's open up the box and see what we usually bring inside. This box is really handy. Normally I can carry it with just one hand. It's super lightweight, but after using it for so long, of course, there's some wear and tear inside. So what do I usually bring first? For example, when you get to the venue, what do you see? A ping pong table, right? And the net, right? The net is important because I've noticed that with a lot of nets, what happens? That's right, sometimes they fall off or the height isn't even at all. So I always bring a ruler. Yeah, this long ruler. This ruler, right? What is it used for? Actually, all you need to do is place this ruler on the net, right? When you put it on the net, you'll know if the height of the net is correct. If you put it on and see that it's just right, then the net is definitely at the correct height, which is 15.25 centimeters. This is the first thing. The second thing I'll bring is this. I'll talk about this first, and then I'll bring a whistle. And what about this side, this tray? Originally, there were just a few, and they were really light, so that's why I started picking bigger notebooks. But after getting bigger ones in the end, I stopped bringing those notebooks altogether. So what is this notebook for? It's for recording students' progress, what needs to be improved, the number of boards written, and any areas that need to be tidied up. For example, so like this, what can you roughly see afterwards? The students have written down the number of boards, and on another page, okay, here you can see it. A lot of times people ask me, what are you doing here? Is this for marking the distance between people, or is it for me? Of course not. The main purpose here is, for example, to note things about the student, like their hand and foot coordination, or if their center of gravity is a bit off, or if sometimes they lift their heels, or any other situations like that. For example, if I circle a problem at this spot, then in the next lesson, I can address it and help them correct it. Why do I do it this way? Because, well, I'm quite forgetful. So when I can't remember, I just look back at this notebook to see what I've written, and I can immediately remind myself of what I did in the previous session, as well as some key points. Yeah, I always mark them right here. If they've completed a certain task, as soon as I hear it, I know their skill level and what kind of tests they can take. So I always bring this thing with me. But there was one time when it rained, and this notebook got completely soaked. So after that, I stopped bringing it. So how do I check things now? Well, with today's advanced digital technology, I also bring this one, which is super useful. Let me tell you, it's really great. It can't go online though, it's just a black and white screen. That's right, just like a notebook. So whenever I need it, as soon as I see something, I can just jot down today's notes right away. You can write on it, and for the tables inside, we fill them in ourselves. Plus, you can pull up any record you want, no problem at all. That's right, so this is it. Alright, and then, today I've introduced three things. We all need them, and maybe when we need to practice some placements, we'll need a ruler. For example, if I want to serve and place the shuttle 40 centimeters from the net, that's right, and you might not always use just one spot. So I also bring a pen with me. This pen, it's erasable, so after you mark something, you'll naturally need something to erase it with. Remember to help clean up for others too. Alright, after talking about these few things today, there's one more thing I always bring, which is this. Time, that's right. For example, we can know the stability of their shots and the speed at which they play. When it comes to recording for the channel, timing is actually very important. Like, for example, can you hit 74 forehand shots in 1 minute? So usually, what else do I bring? I bring 3 shuttlecocks. Are 3 enough? I'll explain in a bit why I don't bring more, okay? So here I have 3 shuttlecocks, because during competitions, they mainly use brand A or brand B's 3-star shuttlecocks. For mainstream brands, I bring 2. That means it's just right, so it should be just these 2 brands. Right, so if I need to explain some spin, yes, look, if I want to show how the spin changes, I'll bring a double-colored shuttlecock. Wow! Once you bring it and take a look, you can easily understand it. I also bring this one, okay? So, 3 shuttlecocks. Why don't I bring more? Well, as a person, you might want to distribute more shuttles, thinking, where are the blue shuttles? But if you can maintain those blue shuttles, that's actually wrong. talking about difficult shots is for the student's sake. Why? Because there's a certain technique that you really have to practice. If you don't practice this particular technique in table tennis, I can tell you it's possible, but what is that technique? That's the serve technique. I've only explained the framework and the legal aspects of the technique to you. When you serve, if you don't put in the effort to practice, you actually won't be able to execute that serve properly. So what about this basket of balls? There are about 50 balls in it, and there's also that ball basket to hold them. I'll introduce that one another time when there's a chance. It's also super useful, okay? Just now I mentioned a basket of balls, right? I usually pick up balls myself, and the whole floor is covered with balls. If you keep bending over, I think your back will be done for after 5 or 6 boxes, okay? So I use a net to pick them up. This net, let me tell you, it's lightweight and super handy. It can extend and retract, so you don't have to squat down all the time. You can just pull it longer. If you have siblings around, you can all do it together. Just like catching goldfish, you can quickly pick up all the balls. But I have to advise you about this thing. Never, ever, ever put it on your head. Why? Because I've actually seen someone do that, and it looked like fun, but after it dented their head, it ended up looking like an antenna sticking out from the side. As I mentioned earlier, this thing is for picking up balls. When you're picking up balls, it's like sweeping the floor with a broom. When you sweep to the right and pick up the balls, wow, you get a lot at once and it feels great. But you have to be careful. If you press this thing onto your head, all the dust from the floor will get sucked onto your head in an instant. I think it's really useful, but absolutely do not put it on your head. Okay, and finally, well, the most important thing at the end, what is it? The racket, of course. Normally when we play, we use a regular inverted rubber, which I have here. But if I want to simulate playing with long pips, what do I do, right? I have a racket with pips out rubber on the back. Some coaches might even bring 2 rackets to create more variety in playing styles and to simulate more of what opponents might use. Some might even bring 3 rackets, maybe with some protective coverings as well. But for me, I just bring these few things, and then I'll talk about this case, which I've been using for 15 or 16 years, and it has some wear and tear, right? So what's so great about this case? All right, when I open it up, this is what it looks like. Inside, there's a rack here, and you have to open it up, right? This spot here is where I put all the things I just mentioned. So what's good about this case? And as for this net, I really like it. Yeah, I really like putting it right here. Because once you put it in, it fits perfectly. It really feels like it was custom made for this spot. Why do I put it here and not over there? Because over there, like I mentioned earlier, I put things like my paddle, my notebook, and all sorts of other stuff and equipment, right? So that's why I put it here, just like how you would put your toiletries when you shower. The main thing about this dry-wet separation is, that's basically today's unboxing. I'm just sharing with you what I usually bring with me when I go out to teach. If you guys also have any secret weapons you bring when you go play, feel free to share them with us in the comments below, okay? That's it for today's sharing. See you next time.